There are 8 billion of us on this planet. We are surrounded by massive cities, immense wealth, and highly organized institutions. Yet, if you look closely at the data on human mental health, existential loneliness is peaking. From childhood, society conditions us to rely on specific safety nets. We are taught that family will always provide unconditional support, that the legal system operates with blind justice, and that religious institutions exist as a moral backstop to catch those who fall through the cracks. This conditioning trains the human mind to view comfort and rescue as default rights. We wire ourselves to expect a metaphorical heaven on earth, and we struggle to process the concept of hell, the reality of enduring severe pain and total isolation. Indian philosopher Sanjay Sethi presents a harsh counterpremise to this expectation. He argues that the individual is entirely alone. The safety nets we trust so deeply are fragile illusions that will inevitably break under pressure. In this framework, Sethi defines truth not as a verifiable fact or a spoken sentence. Instead, truth is an agonizing, silent vacuum. It is a state of being that only reveals itself when society strips away every last layer of support and completely abandons you. This creates a dangerous psychological trap. The very systems constructed to protect us actually manufacture our deepest mental distress. By creating false dependencies, they leave us completely defenseless the moment those structures shatter. Consider the case of billionaire industrialist Jaypat. He built a massive textile empire, sitting at the very peak of wealth and influence. Yet he was ultimately exiled from his own fortune by his own son. The facts of his displacement were entirely public. The government knew it, the legal system knew it, and the public watched it happen. But despite having the absolute, undeniable legal truth on his side, the nation and the courts treated his downfall as a spectator sport. The system effectively rendered a billionaire invisible. We see a similar hypocrisy in organized philanthropy. Societies easily raise billions to construct sprawling, ornate religious temples, yet completely ignore the extreme poverty of the people sitting directly outside their own gates. Modern charity systems often focus purely on biological maintenance. Feeding hungry children at schools prevents starvation, but it treats them as livestock to be managed. It offers calories, but it provides no genuine dignity, no path to prosperity, and no real future. When the only reason a child enters a classroom is for a daily meal, education becomes a secondary concern. That same child enters adulthood with a desperate hunger, but no functional skills. In a society that offers no legitimate path to prosperity, the digital underworld of cybercrime presents the only available means of survival. The evidence points to a specific conclusion. Our courts, families, and charities do not exist to solve individual injustice. They operate to manage the masses. When a single individual begins to fall, these institutions ensure they fall in total isolation. When a person is entirely cut off from the world, their internal perception of time breaks down. Sethi refers to this state as call. Time stops behaving chronologically and transforms into a pure, agonizing present-tense suffering. A mind conditioned to expect rescue suddenly crashes into the absolute silence of societal rejection. The resulting cognitive dissonance is violent. The brain simply cannot process that no one is coming to help. This animated gauge illustrates Sethi's concept of internal temperature. When a person is unheard by the outside world, they start talking to themselves. They begin a relentless, looping internal dialogue that steadily builds psychological pressure. As the unexpressed thoughts compound, the internal pressure pushes the mind to 99 degrees. At this precise stage, the trapped internal dialogue manifests externally as severe neuroses and mental distress. But when that pressure crosses 100 degrees, the mind undergoes a physical phase shift. Just like boiling water turning to steam, the unexpressed words explode outward. The individual loses their grip on reality and crosses the threshold into total madness. These psychological collapses represent a mechanical venting of sustained internal pressure. They are the predictable result of a human mind being forced into absolute silence for too long. When you finally reach this zero state, complete silence and absolute isolation, you are forced into a strict binary choice. There are only two ways a human being emerges from this environment. You either become the mental patient, shattering completely under the immense weight of the silence, or you become the Buddha. You survive the isolation by accepting it, dropping all expectations of rescue, and transcending it entirely. The trap keeping most people from surviving this state is the lingering hope for a savior. We endure the suffering, secretly believing that eventually a billionaire, a government program, or a god will step in and pull us out. We constantly search for a divine guide. We act out the mythological dynamic of the Bhagavad Gita, playing the lost human, Arjuna, looking to Sri Krishna for exact instructions on how to survive the battlefield of reality. Sethi's ultimate philosophical pivot is brutal. Waiting for an external Krishna guarantees your destruction. In the real world, no one is coming. The only way to survive the crushing weight of existence is to become your own Krishna. This level of self-reliance requires extreme pain. You must willingly step directly into the hell of isolation. You have to take the fire of societal rejection and use it to burn away your own illusions, your expectations of comfort, and your desire for a safety net. Shedding the myth of the safety net allows for a different kind of endurance. By walking alone through the fire, you forge a version of yourself capable of